Cool. So, Seb, obviously we've been chatting before this, but can you please just like introduce yourself, introduce Midbound, kind of like what your story's been so far? But yeah,
With pleasure. Yeah. Thanks for having me, man. So I'm Sebastian. I'm CRO and co-founder here at Midbound. Midbound, we are a person level identification solution. So we basically identify the person level who's coming into your website, and we essentially give you all of the contact details. We push that into your different systems, whether it's your CRM or other sales engagement solutions. And of course, we help with new acquisition and optimization of a return on ad spend mostly. So
nice.
that's a bit about the company and a bit about myself. I come from a sales background and go to market mostly over the past 10 years or so. I've been leading fast growing teams at both startups and large enterprises like Intel. We started the company about a year and a half ago, but only launched the product about 6 months ago. So yeah, that's probably a good segue also to get into why we connected with Ronan.
Yeah, 100%. So like, I was going to ask, like, what position were you guys in when you sort of connected with us, and like, why were you looking or open to looking for like go-to-market services at that
Yeah.
time?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I come from the Outbound agency as well, a bit different from the way you guys do it, which is the more next gen type of a GTM engineer, right? You guys, of course, manage a lot of different workflows and processes. Back in the day, like 7 years ago, it was mainly, getting big lists. There's no play.com, nothing like that. So it was very manual process. So I come from that world, and this is typically, retainers and draconian cycles. And typically what I've seen with my experience working with other agencies, and I can include myself, is that they typically perform very well at the beginning, but you don't see that constancy in that, coming back every single month and really delivering the 100% and the execution. So, the reason why we connected with you first and foremost was the outreach, that initial outreach, because it's kind of like when you meet someone face to face for the first time, it's like the first impression, right? And
Yeah.
since you're selling go to market services, that's kind of like, your way to prove like, hey, am I engaging or not? So it was a great first email that you sent to my co-founder. I remember sending myself this screenshot and asking me what I think about it. So we were actually looking for services, especially for an agency that can not just work with startups, but really kind of like have flexible terms when it comes to we're bootstrap. We want to be able to, scale pretty quickly, but at the same time, not break the bank. So you not only came up with very flexible terms, but what I really liked about the approach was that it was based on success
Mm.
rather than, the time that we were going to be working together or, I come from management as well. So change management and changing cycles and systems, it can be very, very critical to your business. So that was kind of like the main thing that caught my attention. It was the flexible terms and the way to show us that the return investment is going to be there, and it's kind of like a matter of time to see it.
100%, 100%. So like in that, obviously we had a couple of calls after that first cold email was sent, and Ellie like passed it over to you. And then we finally like pulled the trigger. I think you guys were fairly quick. It seemed like you guys were gonna do this whether it was with me or not. You wanted to
Yep.
move fast. And then when you finally closed the deal, what was like the first 2 weeks of onboarding like? How did
Mm.
it work?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and just general feedback. Honestly, just be honest as you want.
Yeah. So I've done a lot of different kind of like tests with different agencies because, a lot of different agencies are open to, doing like a free trial or something of that nature. So I obviously was a bit not hesitant, but a bit, kind of like traumatized from previous
Yeah.
experiences. I wasn't, if I can be very, very frank, I wasn't extremely optimistic, especially because again, our go to market, it's extremely aggressive, as you
Mm.
know, and we're trying to scale very, very fast. So, well, so far we've been working for less than a month, roughly at 20 and something days. So for the first week, even before even the 2 week mark, the first week it was extremely hands on, something that, kind of like the part that it was really good, it was me being able to rely or delegate certain things on you, especially setting up the systems. That's probably the part that would have taken me the most amount of time.
Yeah.
While at that time I can be dedicating to closing big deals or doing some more important things. So that was a very, very good just to see that, you have like a proper, like an oil machine working without having intervention from us directly. We really didn't have any time to speak, and you just got it set it up. And honestly, we started receiving leads, I believe, from the day you even started the campaign. And maybe that's running a good segue to also maybe get a bit more into the results and what we've seen so far over the past few weeks.
Yeah, 100%. Like, so obviously we've only been running, we only launched on the 3rd of December, so it's only been about 21 days. So there's not like tons of data to go off of. Like, we can't extrapolate it too much, but so far, like, what have you guys seen?
Yeah, yeah. So we're doing a very strong approach, three different channels. Our volume channel. So since maybe some background, right now it's the holiday season. It's like Ronan said, December 24th. So we're trying to, of course, take it a bit of a low approach right now since people are not going to be reading those emails. So we started very, very strong with email at the beginning of the month. We're trying to scale to the 100K per month. And so far, over email alone, we got roughly 30 opportunities, and these are qualified opportunities. We have two different products or revenue streams. So we have our PLG, which is mainly what Ronan is trying to drive. And we got already more than 20 submissions or 20 trials started since we started this partnership with Ronan on the email side alone. And then we have our LinkedIn automations as well, which we have another additional 20, 25 opportunities created without sharing the tools that we're using, of course. But yeah, so far I would say just going with a conservative or average contract value. I would say for the both product in kind of finding a middle ground, we're looking at 250 north $300,000 in pipeline generated over the past 3 weeks alone. Now, of course, since it's the holidays, we're trying to drive usage rather than conversions right now because, again, we want to basically engage with these prospects in early January and convert them. So, in terms of activation, I would say, and trial activation, I would say that we've had 100% success so far.
Awesome, awesome. No, I honestly like I don't want to take credit for this though. I want to say something nice about you guys and like just to anyone watching this is one thing I have realized after working with clients is a huge determiner of whether cold email or cold outbound is going to work in general is whether they have one really good sales rep on the team.
Yeah.
Like Seb, you've been that, to be fair. Like, you respond really quickly to leads. You know what you're doing. You know how to work the leads. You're not sending like generic templated responses, like you're putting the work in. So I can't take credit for all of that. Like, this definitely has been a team effort. And it kind of segues into how it has been working with you guys, which is like, I really do feel like we've integrated into your team. Like, you said it from the start. I think you said it from
Yeah.
week one. You were like, well, you're part of the team now. So
Yeah.
and yeah, it's really felt like that. So I think this
Yeah.
definitely, I've learned that this is the best way to work with clients going forward. So thank you for helping me learn that. But yeah,
No,
just
man, I
finish.
definitely, I super feel that you've been literally part of the team since the day we've engaged. It's been we've obviously have great compatibility in terms of like the way we work and what we expect from each other. You're super transparent as well in terms of not putting aside like the pricing and the commercials that it was super clean from day one, but more than that on our expectations and really what we can, what are you going to deliver and what part we need to really come in and do our part as well. Like you're saying, I'm very fortunate because you know, I don't meet a lot of founders that are like mainly salespeople. Typically, the founders that I meet out there are either very product focused or anything else. So I think kind of like my superpower, it's while you're a founder, and of course, nobody cares about my business more than I do. Having that sales ability, it's extremely beneficial as a founder because, like you're saying, you can have a great product, but if you don't have a good salesperson pushing, right, to get those meetings in and qualify
Yeah.
the people, then it's worth nothing.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you guys have like a good team at the moment. You've all got like your responsibilities, like you're clearly sales, Ellie's
Yeah.
CEO, Peter's over on the tech side. So it
Yeah.
works really well. Just like kind of segue into the end of the call, two final questions. Like, would you recommend us to a friend that you know? And then
Without a doubt.
appreciate that. And then second question is just like, if someone was on like the fence and didn't really know whether they were a bit nervous about whether to try cold outbound, they were a bit dubious of whether it would work or not for like their B2B company, what would you say to them? In what situations do you think it's like, yeah, you should definitely go for that? And which situations do you think, nah?
Yeah, that's a great question. Honestly, well, ask first and foremost, answering the number one, without a doubt, I would recommend you. And I genuinely mean that because I've worked with, like I said, several agencies and I also come from the agency world. So I know how difficult it is and how hard it's also to find a real partner that would help you scale at the pace that you're trying to. So that's number one. And number two, I feel that working with an agency, it's very advantageous, but it's really about the timing. That's my consensus there is that I feel that not all companies are ready for that volume. I feel that a lot of companies want to have the volume, and of course everyone wants to make money. But what I've learned through, my tenure is that making money is one thing, but being ready or having a product ready to get there, it's a whole different game. So for all founders watching that are, hesitant if to start to doing cold outbound or not, you shouldn't be asking yourself that question because not doing cold outbound, it's kind of like, I don't know what world you live in. Because if you're not doing cold outbound and you have a company, a startup, especially in technology, then I don't know what you're doing. So that shouldn't be the question you should ask yourself. You should ask your question. The question you should ask, it should be, am I ready right now to onboard 100 clients in a month? That's the question you should be asking yourself in terms of product, in terms of course, technically not failing or breaking. Number two, in terms of support, that's a huge one that I can already kind of like see not the backlog, but it's starting to become a bit more of a thing, right? That now every single morning I have 30 messages I need to answer. So again, you need to not just have the support, but the bandwidth to really support all of the process. So that should be the main question. If the answer is yes, and you do have a team and a person and a product that it's ready for that volume, I think not giving it a shot, it's again, you lose all the shots that you don't try, right? Like Kobe Bryant said, you miss all the shots that you
100%.
didn't shot, right?
100%, mate. I think you summed that up perfectly, to be fair. But yeah, that's the cool now, mate. Like, thank you for your time. I'm excited to see like what we can do, how far we can scale this. I don't know if we mentioned it, but literally we were chatting before this, and a notification came through on this new
That's actually
campaign.
great that you remind me. Yeah. So
And I didn't even know the company, but apparently it's enterprise level.
So
So
we started, there's a third channel that we have. I don't want to share the tools that we're using, but there's a third channel that we just started yesterday, and Ronan came up with the lead lists. We started it last night. This morning, right before this call, I went into the tool and I just saw that a very, very large enterprise just scheduled a call with us. So that was maybe after a few hours of launching that campaign. I don't even know how many leads you put there, but yeah, our conversions are looking much better than the conservative, expectations we had, I would say.
nice, nice. Great timing for this call. But yeah, Seb, I really appreciate you taking your time out of your day to do
My
this for
pleasure,
me.
bro.
And other than that, thanks.